Hello everybody, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld. Here are 3 things to pay attention to for the upcoming trading week. Now let's do a very quick week in review. Last Friday we had the retail sales numbers come out which were incredibly good. We also had CPI numbers which came out which were incredibly bad. Left this little teeter-totter of price action for our markets, which did add to volatility, which we talked about. I think that volatility is going to increase in the next week. Why? We start things off with manufacturing. Now, this time it's not just for the United States. We're talking about manufacturing from around the world. And why is it important? Again, economies are driven by things like manufacturing. And since these numbers have been coming out a little bit better, our Fed and central bankers are talking about it quite a bit. Let's take a peek at what's happening on Friday. The tail end of the week brings you, for the European Union, at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're coming out with their manufacturing numbers. But wait, there's more. You've got the British pound, or the UK, at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning. That's 30 minutes after Europe. And then later on that same day on Friday at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time, you have, for the U.S. markets, manufacturing numbers coming out, which could impact any of those currencies, the euro, the pound, and the dollar. Now, why is this important? Because as we know in trading, there's a common phrase that says, the trend is your friend until the bend at the end. Oh, it sounds so cliche, but it's very true. So what's the trend in manufacturing? Here is the manufacturing PMI data going all the way back into 2012. And you notice there's something very interesting happening on the right-hand side of your chart. Since those pandemic lows, it's been one heck of a bullish run. And it's very strong right now. It seems like every month we're making a higher high in Flash Manufacturing PMI. Now, of course, as I just mentioned, the trend is your friend until the bend at the end. If that, in fact, is the case, it looks like these manufacturing numbers are going to be getting better and better. But at what point do we peak out? If you look historically, it's the highest we've been in about 9 years. Well, certainly when things get a little bit extended, they tend to pull back. We'll keep our eyes on this manufacturing report. Now remember, it's 800 people in the United States. They go around and survey manufacturers and say, what are your thoughts on inventory, production, employees, growth? It's just basically the status of their business. And right now, they're feeling very optimistic. We'll see if that trend continues on Friday at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. Now, moving on to something else we actually don't really talk about much here on Monday Morning Must Knows, which is airlines. Summertime is here. COVID's gone. Let's go travel. Let's get to Hawaii and Puerto Rico and travel around the world. Well, it's been benefiting the airlines for a little bit. Here you can see the JETS ETF, which has pretty much all the major airlines in it. And you can see since those pandemic lows, it's been a very nice bull run. JETS going from about $12 all the way up to almost $30 there. Now, why is this important? Well, again, the trend was very strong, but you notice over the past couple of months, it's been getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and it's actually coming right into an area of demand. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is a buy point, but it is an area of demand where there is a probability of big institutional buyers stepping in. Of course, that could be swayed by something called earnings. And that's right, brings us to our final piece, which is the earnings calendar for this week, because there are 3 major airlines, which are in that JETS index, reporting earnings this week. Let's take a peek at Monday. Now, we've got 333 companies reporting this week, so definitely a big increase over last week's smattering of earnings, which was mainly financial. This one is across the board. We've got IBM, Prologis, JB Hunt, Steel Dynamics, and Zion Bank shares. Tuesday brings you the big daddy, Netflix, one of our FANG stocks out there, Lockheed Martin, Intuitive Surgical, Philip Morris, United Airlines. Didn't we just talk about airlines? And Halliburton. Wednesday, you've got Verizon, Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, Kinder Morgan, Texas Instruments, and Harley-Davidson. So in case you don't want to travel on an airplane, get on your Harley and ride across country. Feel that American wind in your hair. Thursday brings you AT&T, Intel, Twitter, Snapchat, Abbott Labs, American Airlines, and Southwest Airlines. So those are big 3, United, American, and Southwest reporting this week. And finally, Friday, before I run out of breath, is Schlumberger, American Express, Honeywell, and Kinder Morgan coming out with earnings this week. That's a lot of companies reporting. What I'm doing here is just cherry picking some of the major names, right? There are a lot more, obviously 333 companies reporting this week. We just showed you about 20 of them, so make sure you check your earnings calendar for this upcoming trading week. It's going to be a busy one. We'll see you next week.